One of the biggest changing, transformational moment in my life was when I was kidnapped.
You were kidnapped?
I was kidnapped by strange people in a strange country, locked up in a strange house for many, many days, many, many nights.
Like serious?
Serious.
Not your wife kidnapped you, no?
No, my wife did kidnap me. She hoped that I never come out of it. Today I joke about it, but my life was literally hanging by a thread. I don't know whether my next few heartbeats will be the last few heartbeats in my life.
So Patrick, you have 2 doctorates. One at the age of 59 and then another one 3 years later. So why do you do it? And then what are these 2 doctorates all about?
Very good question. I do it because I'm stupid, number one.
Don't say that.
And then I'm mad. You have to be mad to spend a huge part of your life in academia, doing a research.
Study all over again.
And not
That's
just
right,
once,
study
twice.
all over again, twice. Yes, so I'm not only mad, I'm doubly mad. And it's very interesting because when they call me up for interview and they ask me, why do you want to do it? You don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then I told them something that, they almost fell off the chair. I said, all my life, I want to solve 2 of the biggest problems in the world. And they said, what are the 2 problems? I said, number 1 is poverty. Number 2 is war. And they look at me, I don't know whether with horror, amazement or bewilderment. And they say, how do you plan to do it? I say, I thought to myself all my life, if I can help people become financially intelligent, then they won't be poor. And if they're not poor, they will then not have to go to war.
Right.
So I've solved 2 of the biggest problems in the world. And they gave me the cheeky smile and say, I think in their mind, they probably say, well, I want your tuition money. And if you don't make it, I'll still have your tuition money. And they say, well, we welcome you to the course. But you're really much on your own because nobody can help you in your dissertation. We only can tell you how to research, how to do your literature review, how to create a methodology, but you are very much on your own. And so long story short, I went through a steep, arduous climb to complete a dissertation, and my dissertation revolves around financial intelligence.
Can you share with us a little bit more about what was it about?
Okay, first of all, I need to explain to you, I went to a school of education. And they actually told me, the interviewers actually told me, you went to the wrong school. You should go to school of business, school of economics, school of banking and finance. I say, if I go to these schools, they will give me theoretical aspects, they will give me macro perspective, but I want to go on the ground and change people's lives.
Right.
And to me, the best way to change a person's life is change their mindsets. And I say, am I correct? Am I not correct that in the school of education, you're all about changing your students' mindsets, paradigm, behavior, motivation, greeds, and helping them to fulfill their dream in life? Say, this is exactly what we do. I say, this is why I'm in school of education. Okay, and that's the reason why I ended up in a school of education to do the doctoral research in financial intelligence. Because at the end of the day, you think about it, when you and I were growing up, did our father and mother teach us about financial intelligence?
Never.
No, right?
Yeah.
When you go to school, did your teachers do it? Absolutely not, right? And yet, in the website of the Ministry of Education, they actually said they want to train the students in what is known as 21st century competencies. And one of the competency is financial literacy. And teachers cannot do it. If they can teach you how to become rich and wealthy, they probably not want to be teachers. Then when you go to work, did your bosses, your colleague teach you how to become rich and wealthy? Absolutely not, right? And yet, we all know, we all need to learn financial intelligence so that if nothing else, we protect our wealth, we grow our wealth. And by doing that, we can live a better life. And so that's what I study about. I study about how can I motivate somebody, not in the sense of the people who are in the personal development space, but motivation basically means how do you get started and be able to complete everything? How do you have the knowledge to build up your financial intelligence? How do you build up the infrastructure, the scaffolding, so that you will be able to get all the help, all the guidance, all the supervision to achieve your financial goals?
Dr. Patrick, can share some tips there or not?
Yeah. Now I'm curious. Yeah. Share a little bit of tips. How do we get any of those? Yeah.
Okay, so there are many things I can cover. The first thing I always tell people is a big word, bombastic word. So this is how people like us in the academia will try to impress you with very big word, right?
Big words.
Yeah, and really at the end of the day, what it means is that if you sit here, you don't believe that you can be rich, you cannot be rich. If you don't believe you have the means to be rich, you cannot be rich. If you sit here and you say, this is not for me, I'm not fated to be rich, then you are defeated permanently.
So first
So
step,
it's called
mindset
self-efficacy. The word is called self-efficacy. So all these issues come under this umbrella term called self-efficacy. So the first thing you have to change is your self-efficacy.
So what limits people to believing that they can be rich?
Okay, so the first thing you want to tell them is this, that when you and I were born, we were born literally with a blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
When we are young, we can do anything, enjoy anything, achieve anything. Have you ever seen a child waking up in the morning and say, today is a bad day. I can't do anything. I cannot enjoy myself. I'm going to be unhappy. No, a child will charge out of the house and explore,
have fun.
big friends, have fun,
Yeah.
try anything.
Yeah.
So I call this the circle of reality or the virtuous circle of reality. But somehow in the process of growing up, the world cruelly crushed the fire of our financial dreams. The world tell us you have limitation. The world tell us you're not as good as some people. You get streamed into different school. The world tell us if you go to this school, you won't go very far in your life. The world tell us if you don't have good parents that will give you all these good resources, you cannot make it. So your virtuous circle of reality become a vicious cycle of possibilities. So then I will give them real life example. And it's very simple. If you need all this to become rich and wealthy, then does that mean that poor people always remain poor? Not really, right? Poor people can become rich, right?
Yeah.
Are there rich people who start off as poor?
Yes,
Absolutely.
many.
Yeah.
So if you can start on the belief, the premise that it can be done, you immediately erase your vicious cycle of reality. You go back to the blank page. So the first thing that need to be changed is your mindset. If you can change your mindset, you put yourself on the first step to becoming rich and wealthy.
But do you think that is actually an Asian culture or Singapore culture kind of thing? Because if you look at the westernized, they'll say, hey, kids, 18 years old, you get out of the house, right? No longer live under a roof. But for Asian, the parents still take care of it. And then the Asian culture is, no, you don't do a business. You go and study very, very hard. And then you'll find a good job.
Be a
right?
scholar,
and then become a
doctor,
scholar.
lawyer.
And you earn more money from there. And that's how you become rich.
Two things I want to say. First of all, I think this paradigm of limiting ourselves does not only happen in the West, it also happens in the East. It's across the board. It's evidence-based. Secondly, at the end of the day, it's not about whether you have Eastern mindset or Western mindset. It's about whether you have the roadmap to take yourself from where you are until you achieve your financial goals, basically. And if you look at the world as it is today, after the walls have come down in China, the communist war, the old traditional Chinese communist war has come down, we are now seeing the fastest growth of rich and wealthy people in China. So it is not about whether we inherited social cultural beliefs and tradition, or do it affect us. By the end of the day, if you know it can be done, and you have the right roadmap, you can take yourself to where you are until you achieve your goals and dreams.
So I hear you mention the word roadmap. So you can explain a little bit.
Okay, basically, a lot of people don't realize that the key word to achieving your dream is a very simple word called grit, G-R-I-T. And there are tons of research now that suggests that, with grit, you can achieve whatever dreams you have. The guy who made it, to the Olympic podium, put in a lot of grit. It has to do with your discipline. It has to do a lot with your mindset. It has to do with your single-mindedness, your focus, your perseverance, your resilience. And all these put together, give you what's called grit. That means in your roadmap to take you from where you are to whatever goals and objective you have, you must have the road called grids. Then you must be able to know literally step by step, word by word, action by action to take you from where you are until you reach your desired destination.
So is it like, must I sit down and have a plan, or things will just appear along the way? Because
Absolutely.
most people will look at it and say, they must have a plan. I'm not sure whether I got a plan
Absolutely.
or not.
I'm sure you have heard of a saying, right? If you and I fail to plan, we plan to fail.
Yeah.
So we all need to have somebody, because mostly we cannot do it on our own, that is willing to sit down with us and then come up with a plan. And that plan has to do with who you are right now, who you want to be, and how do you take yourself from where you are to where you want to be. And who you are has a triadic perspective. Who you are, who you really are. Because we all think we know who we are, but actually deep down we don't really know who we are. It's called the Johari window concept. Very often you don't know who you really are until you talk to somebody else. They see the real you that you don't even see yourself. So who you are, who you really are, who you really want to be. And that's why I'm a strong believer in training and education. I'm a strong believer in having mentors, in having models, in having coaches, having advisors, having consultants. And you must be humble enough to believe that you need help from somebody else. And humility is the first lesson you must learn before you learn any other lessons.
Right. So now I'm wondering, how do you start off your whole journey? Right? What was your first job?
My first job, whether you believe it or not, was when I was in primary school.
Oh.
Yeah. I know it sounds very funny to young people of your generation. When you were born, everything looked very, very good. But when I was born, Singapore really was in a backwater. And unfortunately, my parents didn't make enough money to support all of us. So most of us have to hit the streets and earn some money. So for me, when I was in primary school, I ran a small little stall at Sungai Road. And it's very funny because there were hundreds of us. Everybody selling the same jeans and t-shirt. And to survive, and you have to survive because at the end of the day, if you cannot sell all your goods, you have to throw them away or you have to hide it somewhere because there's not enough space in my house to keep all those things. So very interesting enough, I came up with I don't know where I got this idea. I came up with an idea where I named my jeans with a brand. It's called Côte d'Or. So those days, all brand X and nobody have any brand, right? So can you imagine everybody was screaming and shouting, jeans and t-shirt, jeans and t-shirt. I was shouting, Côte d'Or, Côte d'Or, Côte d'Or. And guess who has the most number of people in his stall? Me. And then the interesting thing is I discovered that there's no changing room. People were literally pulling down their pants, including women, to try on the jeans. I had a makeshift changing room. With some poles and then with some bed sheets. And then ladies can go and change. And the first thing I said to a lady when he comes out is, ma'am, you make my jeans look very, very beautiful. And I said it with total honesty because until today, I've never seen a human that I don't like, that I don't admire, I don't respect. So that was my first foray into the business world. But at the end of the day, I tell people, if ever I have any form of success, it's not because I've got IQ or EQ, it's because I have DQ.
What's DQ?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to know what DQ is, I have a seminar for you to sign up. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, DQ stands for desperation quotient.
Desperation.
How desperate are you to be successful? Because the more desperate you are to be successful, the more successful you become.
Oh, that's a good one.
I thought determination.
Yeah.
But desperate also works. Desperate works.
Yeah.
Okay. So after that, what share a little bit about your journey.
Okay, after that, like anybody else, when I finished my studies, I wanted to be a social worker. I know it sounds strange, but really, I really want to be a social worker. Just to prove to you how serious I was, I actually applied for an internship program to learn from a charity organization. And this charity organization rented a small little office space at the old YMCA building in Hong Kong. So every day, I learned how to be a charity worker. Then in the morning, I will climb a hill opposite the old YMCA building. And at the top of the hill, I'll pray, plan, and prepare myself to be a social worker. When I came back, my friends said, how can you be a social worker? You have no real life experience. You have not gone training pain and sorrow. borrow, you need to earn your stripes as scars, then you can become a good social worker. So off I went. I worked very hard because I want to chalk up the riches, the most comprehensive experience. I got promoted every year until I became the CEO of a multinational, multi-billion-dollar company. Then I started my own company. Again, I was very, very blessed. I was able to list more than 3 companies in my lifetime. First,
3?
Yes, 3.
Wow, okay.
First one in New York Stock Exchange, second one in Australia Security Exchange, the last one in Singapore Exchange. But interesting enough, most people start businesses to make money. I start businesses to make money to support charity work. So I started altogether about 6 different charities. Today, one of my charity, we train 20,000 young people free of charge. If you go to Little Indian Town, for years and years, we ran the only charity that look after migrant workers. We also have a charity that look after elderlies. There are many elderly people in Singapore itself. And then in 2013, I was able to show off my public listed company. I was invited to speak in a CEO conference in Hong Kong. When I was hotel room, I had goosebumps all over my body. So I called the receptionist. I said, what was this hotel known as before it became a hotel? And the receptionist told me casually, this used to be known as the OYMCA building.
Oh, wow.
Uncanny, isn't it? That was the first place I went to. And when I thought I've come to the end of my entrepreneurial journey, I went back to exactly the same location. And that's when I realized that I've always been a social worker. I may not be a professional social worker, but because I'm called to be an entrepreneur, investors, I was able to use the resources I have to touch life, impact families, and transform societies. And that's when I found my new mission to say, if I can help people become more financially intelligent, I can definitely make the world a better place to live in.
Wow.
So interestingly enough, almost every year I got voted in to become the vice chairman of the Global Institute of Social Work. And it's very interesting because I'm not a professional social worker. I have not been trained to be a social worker. And the reason why they accept me in is because they say most social worker needs donation and grants to do their work. But I run my own business, and through my business, through our resources, we are able to do social work and make social impacts.
Okay. What's your favorite social outreach?
Yeah.
I don't have one particular social outreach, but I tell you how I work. We have the good thing about being in Singapore. We have we have a great government. We have a great government. In case you are being bugged here,
Don't worry, the mic is going out.
We have a wonderful government again. But we have many good charities, good social service organization that covers all the major sectors of society. So what I do is that I find gaps that are not covered or not as well covered or could be better covered in terms of providing social services, and then I will focus on this area and help people in the area. And that's how we started. We help young people because at a point in time, we found that there are not many charities helping young people. We help them to develop what is known today as 21st century skills. And then we help elderly way before we became a super aging society. We help migrant workers because prior to the pandemic, nobody really cared about the migrant workers, right? There are 258,000 foreign migrant workers. Wow. And then over the last few years, we focus on helping people who are jobless or who are going to be jobless, who are challenged in their job, who are forced to retire because they cannot find a job. So that's one area we felt, is a gap that's not very well covered. So we want to be able to do our part in the area.
So let's just dive a little bit deeper on the last part you mentioned, people who are looking for jobs and things like that, because that's your latest focus. Actually,
not latest anymore. We started in 2020, so it's about 6 years.
6 years already, wow.
But I have to tell you, I have to be very honest, we had a lot of failures in the first few years, but in the last 2 or 3 years, we have a lot more successes. Also because people are now beginning to realize that there is going to be a major
job shift,
job apocalypse, job tsunami. AI is going to replace a lot of jobs. Digital technology is going to displace, disrupt many jobs. And people are now realizing they either pre-prepare themselves or when the tire hits the road, they will find some way to invent themselves so that they can still generate income to support their livelihood. Yeah.
I want to know I was thinking you can share with us the failures.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, and then after that, I really want to know what do you think of the job disruption sector also.
Okay, they are both interconnected. As far as job disruption is concerned, we all know this. Whether you like it or don't like it, there's enough statistics that show that increasingly a lot of even young graduates from the universities are not getting the jobs they want. And we also know that technology is replacing a lot of jobs. Today we have blood factories, which means they're all run by robotics. And we also know that that ageism is very real. Once you cross over 40 years old, when you go for a job interview, whether you like it or don't like it, they deduct a few points from you. And that 40 years old is actually going lower.
The value is dropping lah.
Yeah, eventually I think that 30 years old have a problem because they don't grow up with AI. We now have a new generation of people who are in school that literally grow up with AI. They would know AI better than the people who are 30 years old and above.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are jobless. A lot of people are retired, not because they want to be retirees. Instead of saying, I'm jobless, it's more dignified to say I'm jobless. So we do have a major disruption tsunami that's already on the horizon. Okay, and we had a lot of failures because people were not very worried in the early days when I first started. I think people are more worried now. And people realize if they don't do something now, they could be the next generation of people that will be disrupted by technology.
So how is the social enterprise that you have helping these people?
Okay, basically, we for the longest time, we teach them digital technology, including AI. Because if there's anything that will cause them to lose their job, cause them to be displaced, is technology. So we teach them technology. And that's why we fail. Because after they learn the technology, they don't practice. Or if you go back to a company, the company won't use them, to in the area that will eventually replace them. And most people don't have that DQ to want to go and improve themselves. So eventually we say, no, it's not going to work that way, right? So we started a mentorship program. And we started this mentorship program because we emphasize to them, don't assume that the job you have today will still be around tomorrow. Don't assume that your boss will still want you in their company. I mean, I don't know whether I should say this, right? But there happened to be a government agency that just retrenched 93 people. I wouldn't mention the name, but it's called GovTech. And so if the government service can be known as a place that give you
iron rice bowl. No more already,
can retrench you, then none of us are spared, right? So we came up with a mentorship program. We say, if you cannot get the job that you want, if you're worried about your job, okay, then we teach you how to become solopreneurs. And this term is increasingly becoming, an important term, right? It started because Sam Altman actually said last year in 2025 that eventually there will be an individual person. One person can build $1 billion company. Everybody laugh at him, right? How can it be possible? In the local colloquial term, they will say, Chinebo. But this year, Gallagher started a company called MedV. This year, his turnover is $1.8 billion.
Wow.
So suddenly, people
open.
are waking up to realize the possibilities that you actually can start your own business and you and yourself alone, I mean myself alone, can actually run $1 billion company. I don't need to run $1 billion company. I don't need to run $100 million company. I don't need to run a $10 million company. But I can run a few $100,000 company. Everything is possible now that can keep me alive and help my family to still enjoy the same quality of life, basically. So in my program, we say you have to show up in my office one night a week. So it's called I do, we do, you do. I will do it, show it to you. We'll do it together. You will do it and we'll show you. So we teach you, for example, we all know this. The first thing you need to learn to do any business, you need to sell. You need to talk. You need to present products and services. You need to convince people. You need to sign contract. You need to provide good service. You need to make sure your customer come back to you again and again. So we teach them, for example, live streaming. Okay? So we'll show it to you. We'll do it together. And
now
then you
you
will
do
do it. And then we'll know that you can talk, you can present, you can convince people. Then we'll bring you to different vendors. We'll bring you to durian shop, spa outlets, merchants, factories. Not because we want you to work for them or sell their product, but if I can train you to sell a broad range of product and services, then the next time when you have a new product or you want to sell somebody else's product, you have all the makings to become a solopreneur. So in between the one night a week, we'll put you on a hotline. So if you're stuck, you have any problem, you send in a question, there'll be people who will help you. So we have at least 200 people that will answer your question. The older mentees will help the new mentees. The new mentees will help the newer mentees. So none of us, it's not multi-level marketing network. None of us get overriding commission. We do it because it's called paying it backward, not even paying it forward. Somebody helped you in the past, you owe an obligation to help people in the future. So we hope to be able to create, today we are arguably the largest community of solopreneurs. I hope to expand it so that we can help more and more people to stand on their feet.
Right. And Dr. Patrick, you mentioned sales. Right. And when it comes to this world, people say, I don't want to do sales, sales is not a thing for me. But for you to actually build a whole range of community in the solopreneurship with sales as one of the key things, right? Is it hard to change their mindset?
First of all, I tell them I want to change your mindset on the idea of sales. They imagine a salesman is a guy who carry a bag, go door to door knocking. So I tell them, when you were a child and you want your father and mother to give you some favor, don't you think you're selling? When you go and work and you want your bosses to treat you better, in a better way and give you more money, aren't you selling your boss? The day when you fall in love with a boy or a girl, aren't you selling yourself to a person? So sales is not just a critical skill. Sales is essential skills. If you want to really stretch it, it's existential skills. If you don't know how to sell, you can't live a good life or the life that you desire, basically. So once I can change their mindset, then they will understand that skills is one of those 21st century skills they need to learn. Of course, there are many, many other skills, but at the basics, at the most basic level, you need to learn how to sell. And once you can sell, it doesn't matter, whatever product or services you're marketing, once you can sell, you can have a higher chance to achieve success. Everything starts with a sale, as they say.
Yeah. I wanted to find out a little bit more about the companies that you ran. Yeah. I think the first one that you mentioned that you listed was a technological company. Correct. And how did you do that?
Okay, first of all, I started a company with a group of partners. It's a company called Gartner. So if you remember, in 1981, Steve Jobs so-called invented the microcomputer. Actually, he didn't invent the microcomputer. He commercialized the microcomputer. So when we are looking at a microcomputer, we say you've got hardware, you've got software running it, but you've got nothing on the screen.
Right.
So we actually started a content creation company, which is what is known by today. But it's an information company. And lo and behold, the information company grew and grew, and we were providing critical information to help people to understand technology, leverage technology, and then use technology to improve their effectiveness and efficiency. And we subsequently listed a company in New York Stock Exchange. And it's not because I'm very, very smart, because I was there at the beginning.
Right.
How much was it listed for?
Huh?
How much was it listed for?
Today is easily worth more than $10 billion, but please don't borrow money from me, because when I sold my share, it was way, way below, more than $10 billion, basically. Yeah. And the second company I listed was in education. At that point in time, there was this great emphasis on lifelong learning. As they say, education can only open the door to the tower of success, but if you want to reach the top, the apex, you need lifelong learning. So we started a company called Success Resources, and essentially we provide seminars, conferences, courses to help people to build on what they already know, then to develop all the critical skills so that they can become successful. That's why it's called Success Resources. And today we are arguably the largest seminar company in the world. And then in 2008, we listed the company in Australia Securities Exchange because we bought over one of our biggest competitors in the world, and they were based in Australia. So the condition for buying over his company is to get it listed in his country, basically.
Okay.
You know, and then when people became rich and wealthy, people were chasing after investments, especially property investment, because there was a survey that I read many years ago that 9 out of 10 millionaires in the world became millionaires directly and indirectly because of real estate. So I started a real estate company and eventually listed the company on Singapore Stock Exchange.
So for Success Resources, if I'm not wrong, they brought in many overseas speakers. But prior to Success Resources, was there such a trend going on where overseas speakers was brought in?
Okay, yes and no, because training or lifelong learning has always been there, but it's on a B2B basis. In other words, before 1990s, if you ever go for training, it is either because your parents pay for you, your companies pay for you, or the government pays for you.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely.
They will fork out their own money, right?
Correct. Very rarely they take off of their own pocket money. They don't pay a lot of money. To take out money to attend a seminar, it's not a normal practice, not habitual. And so we wanted to change the world. You know, we had a small little dream, change the world. Small little dream, change the world. And we see
Wow, yeah. I was like,
Funny,
you all
right?
need to smile. You all need to start a small little dream, right? So we say if we can bring international world-class speakers to Singapore and they transfer their technology, their expertise, then we can change the whole society.
Yeah.
And so I remember the first guy we brought in is a guy called Tom Hopkins. Now, some of you are too young to remember, but his books were like best-selling book during that period of time. If you want to learn how to start a business, run a business, become successful, his book is one of those
one of the
books that you have to
Rules
read, right?
of selling.
Yeah. And so at that point in time, we try and convince him. He said, I'll give you a good discount, $25,000. I'm like,
To turn up.
for him to show up in Singapore.
Okay.
And then we were like, I don't even make $25,000 a year. You know, it sounds like a lot of money. Then we went to do a survey, right? We asked the person on the street, will you take out money from your own pockets
To listen.
to go attend a world-class seminar to learn from a world-class guru? Will you pay $1,000? No. 900? No. 800, 700, 600, 500, 400? And you see their eyes slowly growing, right? 300, 200, 100 or $100 will come. Now imagine $25,000
And then you have to do 100
divided by
packs.
100 Singapore dollar, which is equivalent to like, I have to put in few hundred people.
Yeah.
On top of that, I have to spend money for advertising and promotion, right?
Yeah.
venue
Our
as
dream-
well.
Huh?
Venue space as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
So our dream died then. And then we tell ourselves, here we are trying to tell people, you know, you can live a life of possibilities, you can change the world, and then we kill our own dream on day number one.
Okay.
And you won't believe what we did.
You just hire him. You just hire him.
Say again?
You just bring him down nonetheless. No?
We did something a bit smarter than that lah. Okay? We booked the indoor stadium.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Now remember this, Indoor stadium is not a place for training.
Yeah, it's not.
When
It's
we
a-
went to book the
At
place,
that point of
they-
time was concert still, right?
yeah, they said, are you bringing, Andy Lau?
Zhang Xueyou.
Zhang Xueyou. Are you playing some competitive sports like badminton, basketball? I said, no, we are going to do training here. And like, are you sure or not, young boys? You will lose your pants, Because I calculated, if I can sit 10,000 people times $100,
Yeah, you gotta.
You made it back, yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah.
If I ask those people who sit in front,
Pay a bit more.
Pay a bit more.
pay a bit more, I can cross $1 million.
Yes.
So long story short, we were the first company that ran a training seminar in indoor stadium, and still is the only company that ever run training seminar in indoor stadium. And we went from So we went from running training in indoor stadium, not only in Singapore, literally all over the world. So it's like cookie cutter system. And then eventually we ran seminar in football stadium.
Wow.
You cannot imagine. I was speaking on a stage in football stadium.
Where was this?
It was in Europe.
Which, like UK or?
Okay, we used a country called Poland,
Poland.
because it was cost effective and everybody in Europe were
wherever you go there, it's
all
cheaper.
to the football stadium, and they have at that point in time they have a
30,000?
relatively new football stadium that you can actually cover. So when it rains, you won't be
covered
caught in
up,
the
yes.
rain, and they have a very good sound system, very modern football stadium.
Yeah.
And we are probably the only company that I know of that's ever run a training seminar in a football stadium.
Wow.
Which
How
goes to
big
my-
was the audience? 30,000?
I think we have
50,000?
easily more than 50,000
Wow,
people in the
okay.
football stadium.
That's mad.
Which brings me back to the first point. If you're stuck in the vicious circle of reality, remember you can turn it into a virtuous cycle of possibility. If you have a dream, you believe in your dream, you're willing to work in your dream, you're willing to work at all the possibility, believe in the human ingenuity, you'll find your own solution.
So what was the biggest name that you brought to Singapore?
Oh, we have brought in almost every big names. I think even at this point,
the first.
Even at this point, if anybody who is anybody in the world of training or public speaking,
They will have come.
we're probably the only company they will go to that can bring them literally around the world, basically. So we have brought in President Bill Clinton. The first time he ever came to Singapore was because we invited him. We have brought in Prime Minister. And we have brought in Anthony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes, I heard of
the
those.
guy who developed or popularized the theory of emotional intelligence. We brought him into Singapore. So we brought almost all the who's who in the world of expertise, from Michael Porter, Harvard University, down to I'm trying to remember. There's so many of them, but
Anyone that you want to bring in but rejected you?
who have cancelled us.
Yeah.
I think so far there's nobody that is who's who in the public speaking circuit that would not want to go around the world and would not want to work with us because we're the only company that I think that can bring them all over the world.
What I was really interested in is how do you fill up the indoor stadium then?
That's my trade secret. Brother, this is where I have to charge you money. Actually, it's not so difficult basically because at the end of the day, we believe inherently within us, we all want to learn. We all want to improve.
Okay.
We want to get better results. So the only question is whether you can get
price
the right,
point? The right price point?
the right guru and the right price point. So if you get the right guru, if I run it for $100 to $200, you will come. And for the longest time, we ran a program called Millionaire Mind Intensive MMI by T. Harv Eker.
Yeah.
And guess what? We run a 3-day seminar free of charge.
Wow.
And we ran it in many countries for some years. So we believe that our educational program can change your life. So if I believe I can change your life, I must believe I can give it to you free of charge. And in the process of going to these 3 days, and you know that it has changed your life, it has helped you to improve, you will then become my customer.
Yeah.
So instead of chasing that small pool of people who already decided they want to commit themselves to lifelong learning, we went for a bigger pool of people who have never thought of going back to school after they graduate from wherever they come from, and then turn them into lifelong learners, basically.
But in the current world of media, social media especially, right? All this lifelong learning will longer be just physical. They want it to be online as well. Do you think that there'll be a huge change in this industry?
There's definitely a shift right now, and we have been changing. So we not only run physical seminar, we also run online seminar. But very importantly, we are doing a lot of hybrid programs. So I run a coach to coaches program. So there's a physical part of the program you go through, and then there is another structured series of program that we run online. So by putting together the best of the physical world and the online world, I think we can deliver the best outcome, output, and impact.
I think ultimately there's always a want to see your favorite star
Life.
in person,
Yeah.
right? So I think there's always a chance. Right? How about the real estate company?
Okay, we started a real estate company because I saw many people become rich and wealthy and they wanted to do investment, and a lot of people became rich and wealthy because of property investment. That's why I went into the real estate business. Now, I'm not that very smart. I'm saying it humbly. I'm not saying humbly. I'm humbled anyway. If you look at all my business dealing, I was there at the beginning. So I went in real estate when real estate was booming, people were investing in real estate, and I caught on to the boom basically. And when I went to the industry, I realized there were a lot of cowboys in the real estate industry. A lot of people were doing things illegally, unethically, dishonorably, and immorally. And I say, hallelujah. When things are bad,
There's a value there.
there is a lot of value there.
Yeah.
There's always a silver lining in a dark cloud, even in the dark nights. And so I literally went the industry with the view to excel in the industry by transforming the whole industry. When people were turning left, I was literally turning right. When people were doing all the wrong thing, I taught my people to do all the right thing. We came up with a code of honor. And then eventually I co-founded the industry association and chaired the legislation committee and developed the first code of ethics and conducts that eventually became adopted as part of the first set of Real Estate Agent Act in 2011 basically. So I've contributed to actually improving the quality and standards of the industry. Now when I first started, it was not easy because my people tell me, boss, everybody is doing the wrong thing. You're asking me to stand upright. I will die. I see if in the boy or in the kingdom of the blind, and you're the guy with the one eye, you will stand out.
Yeah.
Don't look at the glass as they say that's half empty or half full. Take those who have a half empty cup, drink their water, give them back the empty cup.
That's good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's what we do. We literally eat their lunch, finish their drink, keep their cup also sometimes.
Actually, yeah. You see?
No, so I wanted to know if what was one of the standards that you raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tell my people, for example, do the right thing. Don't do the wrong thing.
But if everybody was doing it, then maybe that was the right thing?
No, I don't accept that. Just
Okay.
because everybody, is a crook doesn't mean that I have to join them as a crook.
Okay.
And I truly believe it was a cowboy town when I first joined the industry. And I tell my people that, when they are telling lies to woo over their customers' eyes, and the truth is very hard to stomach. Sometimes truth is harsh, is hard, is cold, is inconvenient, but then do a better job in supporting whatever truth that you have with evidence, with survey, with research.
Okay.
And by doing that, your customer eyes will slowly open up and realize that the rest of the guys are pulling woos over their eyes, but you are finally the first honest person that telling me the truth. I'd rather deal with you and I'll continue to deal with you. And it's how we stand out from the crowd, basically.
Right.
And there are some small little things that we do. For example, when I joined the industry, everybody was wearing jeans and t-shirt. I made my people wear shirt and pants to look professional. When they were wearing shirts and pants, I make my people wear tie. When they're wearing shirt pants and ties like a lot of them do now, I made them put a jacket. Now it sounds like what's the big deal? I've seen people wearing, in show flat wearing a jacket, shirt and pants, but we were the pioneers in doing that. Can you imagine when we go for a meeting, we may not be the biggest company, but at least by sheer looks and image, we already won 2 points. And I tell people, you dress up not to just be comfortable yourself. You dress up to respect your customer, to show them you're professional, to show them that you are going to, do a good job for them, just like you've taken the trouble to do a good
dress up,
job in making sure you look like a professional.
Yeah, so Dr. Patrick, as being a white knight, right, in such a dark industry, right, is there anyone who hates you or tell you very horrible things and things like that?
Believe you me, I'm public enemy number one in the industry. I was Johnny come lately, and literally within 5 years, I was eating up the whole industry alive. And then eventually, my competitors may not agree with me, but eventually I gave the Singapore Board of Record all my database to ask them to audit, and they gave me the honor to say we are the largest real estate agency in Singapore. My competitor today can choose to object. But my question to them is, why didn't you submit your database? Why didn't you go for auditing? Don't tell me, years later, you can publish a book and say you're the biggest. You know? Don't tell me that with your sure mouth, you can prove that you are the biggest. I show them real numbers, real figures. They were not willing to show real numbers and real figures.
Yeah.
And that's the industry we're in, right?
Right.
Okay? To me, it is very important whatever you do must be based on research, must be based on evidence, not just based on what you say.
Cannot say only.
So can I tap on your emotional side, right? On a personal advice then. Many people will also say that the more success they become, the more backlash, more weird gossips that they will face. Any ways or tips to deal with this kind of people?
That's okay, because I always say that if you don't have enemies, chances are you're not successful. So if you're successful, you invite all kinds of people that will throw mud at you. And to me, like what they say, right? When they throw lemons at you, make lemonade out of it. Make the most out of it. Tell yourself, because of all this, it is testament that you're doing the right thing, basically. At the end of the day, you answer to your own conscience, you answer to your own children, your own family members, you answer to somebody up there that you are doing the right thing. That's why in my company, we have 4 key questions we ask ourselves. Is it legal? Is it ethical? Is it honorable? Is it moral? If we cannot answer yes to these 4 questions, we won't do it. No matter how many millions of dollars you put on the table. And to me, the world will recognize you eventually. May not recognize you at the beginning, may not realize the values of what and the virtues of what you're trying to do, but you do the right thing, the world will begin to appreciate what you do, value what you do, and then reward you accordingly.
Right. Wow. Well, thank you for that, Dr. Patrick. With that, right, let's go to our ENSO segment. This is the ENSO segment. Over the course of interviewing and networking, we realized that many people do not know what question to ask. Hence, we came up with this. It's as simple as pick up a card and ask that question. Dr. Patrick, we are back here. This is the ENSO segment. So over here, right, I'll invite you to choose 2 cards and we'll ask you the questions.
Okay, I know you have your rules and regulation. Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I live by a principle that says the best way to live my life is to live my life for others. Not because of others. There's a world of different. And the more you and I reach out to bless other lives, the richer and better our lives will become. I have what some people will call prophecies of my life, that I will always be the number 2 man. That means my sole purpose in life is to help others to become number 1. So instead of picking the 2 questions, can I suggest that maybe each one of you pick one question? I will answer the question.
Sounds fun.
In case the audience think that we all are equal. And then these are all pre-selected questions. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll choose this. Matthew?
I think this.
Okay, so this is actually quite apt to whatever you're doing now. So the question is, how do you mentor and support the next generation of leaders?
Okay, that's a very, very, very good question. First of all, I dare not say I'm the best mentor. In fact, I just posted something on my social media to say that my latest mentee, so every year I take in mentees, not just to help them, not just to mentor them, but also to learn from them. And this year I wrote a posting that said that my mentee actually mentored me. Yeah, and so to me, mentorship is not somebody who is bigger, better, helping this guy who don't know as much. I think it's really a partnership of equal, walking this journey together. And to me, mentorship is really about investing your life in another person's life. And to me, the best way, when you invest your life in other people's life, you live the best life. So it starts with the mentor saying, am I willing to invest my life in that person's life? And I also mentioned to you all just now that I believe in my mentorship philosophy called I do, we do, you do.
Yeah.
So when the mentees come to me, and usually I will ask them what you learn from me. I mean, frankly, if they want to learn about computer, I'm not the right person, I wouldn't take them in. But usually it's because they want to learn to become better entrepreneurs, become investors. So the first phase of the journey basically is for me to show them what it means to be an entrepreneur, what it means to be an investor. I want to walk my talk. I want to show the way. I know it sounds cliche, but I think there are people who tell you what to do and tell you don't do what they do. So they tell you to do what they tell you to do. They don't do what they say they will do.
Or they don't walk the talk, they don't practice.
I don't want to be that kind of person. And so I will bring them around, and in some cases, I even show them my bank account. I also share with them my failings, my failures, my foolishness, my fears, my frailties. I want to be very real to my mentees. Then we walk through a journey together where we do something together. So we embark on a project together. So all my mentees before AI have to write a book. Okay? And all my mentees will help me to run my company.
Oh, wow.
And some of my mentees actually become the chairman of my company.
Wow.
So I will tell all my staff, this mentee is going with us. We're going to be with us for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. He's our chairman. And I actually allow them to run the company. Of course, we are all there to
help.
be safety net.
With the guardrails,
That he will not cause the whole business crash. But eventually they will do something. It's called you do. So this year, for example, or for many years now, they will create a business project, earn real money, and service real customers. And at the end of the day, whatever income they generate, will be given to charity.
Wow.
So our latest mentee just left us last week. So he has to organize a seminar with 3 world-class speakers. And then he has to generate income from the seminar. And all the money, 100% is donated or is given to an organization that provide crisis relief support work to people in Gaza. So I don't care whether you love or don't love whichever party is involved in the war, but finally, as long as that people are in pain and misery, it incumbents upon ourselves to help all these people. So this is my basis for helping somebody. But interesting now, in the process of mentoring a lot of people over the years, I realized I learn more from them. Hopefully they learn as much as from me. So this later generation make me realize a new generation has risen. Some people call it Gen Z, but frankly speaking, it's not even Gen Z anymore because Gen Z is just such an umbrella term. But the young people in America, the young people in Asia may not go through the same cultural traditions and practices. So in this case, it was an American mentee that came to me, and that's when I realized they are now growing up in a different world, and we cannot assume we know that world. And if we're going to be successful in the new world, we must learn from them, learn how to work with them, learn how to partner them. Then we can make it in the new world.
Wow.
How old is the mentee?
This mentee that we took is 21 years old.
Okay.
Last
the seminar one? To do the seminar was 21?
Oh, this guy who ran this particular seminar is 21 years old. But a few years ago, we had another mentee that ran an even bigger conference. Is only 16 years old. I normally don't take in people who are 16 years old, but because his mother is a good friend of mine. She's a CEO of a public listed company. She's a great entrepreneur. But you know what it is, right? Father and mother cannot teach your own children. Pass over to Uncle Patrick. And I told her that Uncle Patrick is not going to be nice to your son just because he's 16 years old, just because he's son of the mother. And the mother say you can do whatever you want. And literally he was like in tears almost every week because I push him very, very hard.
It's a stress, you have to come out with decisions, right? You have to make the calls. How long was he attached to you?
He was attached to me for about 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah, 3 months. And 3 months he has to...
Do they get paid?
Okay, some of them are being paid. In this case, the 16-year-old is not being paid because he comes from a very rich family. But this 21-year-old that just left me, even though he comes from a rich family, but we still gave him some allowance just to make sure that he can tide over basically during his time with us.
was very,
very interesting.
I've learned a lot from that actually.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking we should make a business of it.
Yeah.
You send your children to me, I have to charge you, right?
It's like, CEO childcare center or something.
This is
a childcare center.
Kids
Yes.
CEO program. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we should do that.
We
business
should have
together.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm starting to count the money of how much I can make from two of you now. Yeah. Yeah. Please have as many children as possible, okay?
So the second question, the one that I got was, how did you maintain your success over time? I have a follow-up question. Maybe you can share some of the principles, the core principles that are consistent.
I have a challenge with that question.
Mm-hmm.
So if I remember the question, you say, how do I maintain my success? I will tell you honestly, I never maintain my success.
Mm.
And I like to believe that nobody can continue to be successful.
Mm.
And to me, I think every successful person will fail.
Mm.
And in some ways will continue to fail unless you have small little dream that is really achievable. But I think life is not about whether you fail. It's about whether you can pick up from where you are to become very successful.
Mm.
And a lot of people say they learn from failure. The reality is that most of us never learn from failure. So I always tell people this: when you fail, you not only have to pick yourself up, you need to learn from your failure. Ask yourself 5 times at least why you fail.
Mm.
Why you fail? Why do you really fail? Why do you really, really fail? Why do you really, really, truly, truly fail? Because most of us don't even know why we fail. Don't talk about learning how to fail. So to your second question, I live by a few principles, if I may just share with everybody. First one is borrowing from the words of Albert Einstein, who created the law of relativity called E equals to MC squared. So for me, it's a law of success. It's called E equals to MC to the power 4. E for
4.
excellence.
4.
4. Yeah, must be better.
Must
be better
have
than
two
Albert
more.
Einstein. Two more,
Two
man.
more.
2 more. Okay. E for excellence. I think I live by one principle that anything worth doing is worth doing with passion and excellence. And for mission, we all need to serve a higher calling, fulfill a worthier cause. If you don't have a worthwhile mission, you're not truly living life. Then you need C to the power 4, the synergy of 4 different C's. The first C is your character. I think finally, people measure you by your character. It is your character and your values that help you to achieve sustainable relationship, friendship, and impacts. Then the second C is commitment. You can be the smartest person. By the end of the day, you don't have commitment into what you're doing, you're not going to succeed in life. Okay. The third C is competence. So every industry, every job, every profession, every company requires their own unique set of competence. So if you have decided to adopt this job or this mission or this company, then you must know what's the competence that you need to develop and continue to develop to achieve success in the role and responsibility you're playing. The last C is compassion. And to me, if you are somebody who's got all the financial success in the world, but you don't have compassion for humanity, you don't have compassion for people and the environment around you, then to me, you're not much of a human, basically. So that is my so-called law of success.
Success.
E equals to
MC4.
MC to the power 4.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
thank you very much for that, Dr. Patrick. Thank you. So, and this is how we ENSO.
So, Dr. Patrick, what's the biggest life lesson that you had that you would like to share with
That's
us?
a very good question. One of the biggest changing, transformational moment in my life was when I was kidnapped.
You were kidnapped.
I was kidnapped by strange people in a strange country, locked up in a strange house for many, many days, many, many nights.
Like serious.
Serious.
Not your wife kidnapped you, no.
No, my wife didn't kidnap me. She hoped that I never come out of it. And she can inherit all my life insurance policy. Yeah. And so I was, today I joke about it, but my life was literally hanged by a thread. I don't know whether my next few heartbeats will be the last few heartbeats in my life, basically.
Which country was this?
I have not want to review the country,
okay.
but the country is not too far away from us. I don't want anybody to have negative feeling about any countries.
Okay.
Because of my experience, basically. So when I came out of the kidnapping experience, people asked me, "Was I able to sleep?" I said, not only was I not able to sleep, I was watching the greatest movie of my life. And the greatest movie of my life and your life is a movie about your life, right?
Yes.
So I saw myself from the day I was born, going to school, going to work to where I was. And a lot of people ask me, what was your greatest regrets? And so I have two greatest regrets in my life at a point in time. My first regret is I tell myself, if I cross the imaginary line between life and death, what will people say about me? What will people think about me? Have I done my part to help people live a better life? Are people better off after meeting me than before meeting me? So I came out of this kidnapping experience telling myself that I want to invest my life in other people's life. I want to be the number 2 man, as I mentioned just now, to help other people to fulfill their worthwhile goals and dreams. My greatest regret is that I imagine myself crossing the imaginary line between life and death. And I see this wonderful being with huge smile, arms stretching, running towards me. I should be happy, right? Suddenly you realize, hey, that's not the end of life, that I'll be enjoying a never-ending playground and party for eternity. But somehow I didn't feel very good because I somehow felt that he's going to ask me, hey, welcome, man. Tell me about your life. Tell me what you do, the gifts of life you've given to you. At that point in time, I could not, in all my conscience, say, I'm happy in my life. I've done what I want to do in my life. I've got nothing worthwhile to tell him, nothing great to tell him that I've used the gift of life properly. So when I came out of the kidnapping experience, I developed a value statement. I said, the more you and I reach out to bless other lives, the richer and better our lives will become. The more you and I reach out to bless other lives, the richer and better our lives will become. So this is one of the greatest experiences of my life that shape how I see life.
And wow, okay. And on that note, how about a finance lesson that you have from your business or life?
The greatest financial lessons I've learned, is to put two words together: entrepreneurship and investment. So you probably have heard people say in your life, you either become an employee or self-employed, or become a business owner or investor. And so I asked myself, why must I be either entrepreneur or investor? Why can't I combine them both together? So I created a new term called entrepreneurship and entrevestment. Can I combine the best of the two different roles to create the greatest financial success? What's an entrepreneur? Somebody who start a business, run a business, plan, lead, manage, control a business to achieve financial success. What's an investor? Investor is somebody who put his limited money into an instrument investment and then don't do anything, earn passive income to achieve his success. So entrepreneur earn active income, investor earn passive income. Why can't I combine the two? Why can't I invest in a property and not just leave it to an agent to run my property? Why can't I invest in a property, manage my property as if I'm an entrepreneur, and think of how I can improve the value of the property, how I can improve the property to get the best renter, how can I improve the price, value, and profit from my investment, basically. Why can't I run a property, own a property, and think like investor, how to extract the best return from a property itself? So by combining the best of two roles, the mindset, the strategy, the model, the system, I think I can maximize my financial returns.
So I think, Dr. Patrick, you mentioned quite a lot of things in terms of your past and then what you're currently doing now. I want to check with you is, what are the next upcoming projects or future that you are hoping to get or start doing?
So I mentioned to all of you that I have this life transformational experience where I was being kidnapped, where I thought that would be my last few breaths will be the last few breaths of my life. I imagined myself seeing my creator. So that scene has always been in my mind, that today is the last day of my life. What can I tell the big man about how I've used my life?
Yeah.
I'm not the best of human. I don't live the best of life. There are many, many good things I can do, but there are many, many good things I can do that's done by other people. And so to me right now, I want to focus my attention on responding to what I believe is the greatest challenge in the 21st century in the new world. And that is helping people who are jobless, helping people who are not only jobless, going to be jobless, who are challenged in the workplace, who are not happy in the workplace, who are forced to retire. And to me, by doing this, I can help people to maintain their quality of life. I can help them to provide for their loved ones so that they will not be destitute. I can help them to live a dignified and a gracious life. So to me, this is one area that I want to devote my life to, because when I join all the dots in my life, I realize that all these dots, when I join together, teach me how to become a good entrepreneur, a good investor. And if there's anything, why can't I teach people what I've learned? Maybe not the best there is in the market, but this is what I've learned, and help people to also become better entrepreneurs, better investors, so that they can live a better life.
Right.
Is there anything that we should talk about that we haven't spoken about or discussed yet?
He'll tell you a lot.
Are you sure you want to ask a question? We should. Because my staff tell me when I have a few words to say, you mean 3 days, 3 nights. Yeah. And if you can put up with it, I'm known to teach from 9 o'clock to 5 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. I've done it many, many times in my life, basically. So I think there are many things we can talk about. Finally, if there's any issue that I think I want people to remember is this. I know it sounds cliche, but life is short. You never know when is your last day. And if today is your last day, if you know that today is your last day, what will you give your whole heart, your whole soul, your whole mind, your whole spirit to make full use of this last day of your life?
Right.
And to me, I live my life as if today is my last day. When I was young, I always say I want to conquer the world, I want to change the world. But today, every morning, I have one very simple prayer. My very simple prayer is this: how can I impact just one more life? Just one more life today. If I can encourage somebody, motivate somebody, uplift somebody, edify somebody, strengthen somebody, I would have lived a very good life.
Right. Wow. On that note, Dr. Patrick, then let me ask you this question. Because for every single guest that sit on that chair, we'll ask this question. And the question is, if there's one word that you'll give to any inspiring entrepreneurs or anyone who's looking for success, what would that one word be?
Sorry, man. I think I preempted you just now. I created this new term called being an entrevestor, being an investpreneur. And so if there's one word I want to share with anybody who aspires to be an entrepreneur or an investor, is to combine the two disciplines together and say, why must I only be entrepreneur, run an asset and earn active income, or become investor, put my limited resources into assets and then pray hard that I can earn passive income? Why can't I combine the best of these two disciplines? The best of the two models, the two structures, the two systems, the two processes, the two procedures, so that I can live the best life. And to me, being an entrepreneur, being an investpreneur is not just about making money. When I combine these two together, I can do so many different things in so many different areas of my life, basically. For lack of a better word, is like thinking out of the box. How do you think out of the box? And the best way to think out of the box is to go into somebody else's box and see what they do in their box.
Right.
So to me, when you combine the two, you are not just thinking out of the box. You are entering into other people's boxes, and then from their perspective, see, this is great stuff. This is something I shouldn't do. And then by getting the best practices of different people, I can put together, synergize them together, and create a much better solution.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Patrick Liew. I think we benefited a lot from the conversation with you. And one of the biggest things that I really thought that I'll take away is to invest yourself into other people's lives. I think you repeatedly mentioned that, and I can see that that's a real core message or mission that you believe in. Hopefully, that will resonate with many of the listeners out there, because it truly resonated with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much for today's conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hi guys, thank you for listening. If you like what you have just heard, follow us for more content like this.